gonna get out here. It's happening. The psychopaths are here.
Hello. Welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Chad Campbell, and with me is my co-host,
Mike Karen.
Make sure you stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, and also check us out on Instagram. Our handle is at ScreamStreamPod. Just a warning, if you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now. Check out the film and then rejoin us for our discussion. Today, we are looking at Jimmy Huston's 1981 film Final Exam. It scored 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. And let's get into it. Mike, you're going to give us our plot summary. What is this movie about?
I'm going to read the second one here from Greg Doria. I hope they said their name right. In a small college in North Carolina, only a select few students are left to take midterms. But when a killer strikes, it could be everyone's final exam.
Ooh, wow, that's a great tagline.
So well done, yeah.
And what are we drinking today in our sinister sip?
So this is a Scofflaw from Anders Ericsson's channel on YouTube. And this one is 1.5 ounces of rye, 1 ounce of vermouth, lemon juice, grenadine, orange bitter, shaken over ice.
All right. Well, let's give her a taste.
Cheers.
Cheers. Interesting.
A lot of lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd pull back that lemon juice by a bit. It's 1/2 ounce, but I'd go quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or sweeten it up with a bit more grenadine.
Maybe that's what it's missing. A little bit sweeter would be.
Yeah.
It looks like Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Drinks like it too. And it's 2.5 ounces of booze. So.
Whew. A summer drink.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into our first impressions of this film. Mike, you're going to kick us off. What was your first impression of Final Exam?
A roller coaster of emotions, Chad.
Oh, my Lord, yes.
There was the nostalgia of the Revenge of the Nerds / Porky films of my youth at moments. And then there was the shock of the school shootings. And
my Lord, yeah.
There's, again, this is one of those films where it's like, I want to say so much that comes up in later categories, but so I'll do my overall. Yeah. I didn't dislike it to the point of, it wasn't a tedious exercise in watching, but it definitely wasn't great. There were moments I enjoyed. There were characters that I liked, but it just felt like it was two different films. It was a college comedy and it was a slasher film. And I don't think it did either one very well.
Right. I had a couple of first impressions that I wrote down here. I think this movie's trying to be Halloween.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just trying to do it in a college instead of high school.
Yeah.
Right. All these guys do look older, you know, roughly around college age. Some of them look a little older than that, but it's trying to be Halloween in a different area. And then I said, I'm not sure if this movie sucks because of the writing or the acting.
Yeah.
It just missed the mark for me. I did not like this film. You know, there were moments that I was okay, but then it just missed the mark for me.
Yeah.
They follow every horror template, but with lack of explanation, and they miss the mark, and it's just a exercise in, I don't know, patience.
Yeah.
It was rough. Yeah. And like I said, there were some times when I'm like, okay, here we go. And then I'm no, it just fell short. So that was my first impression of it. But because it follows this template, the next one we're going to go into is Tropes, Hall of Shame. And I'm going to kick off the tropes here. So one of them has to do with the music.
Okay.
Eerie music plays when nondescript van shows up.
Right.
It's do. You need to know that this is a scary moment, right? So that was one of them. Another one is right in the opening shot, completely alone in the woods, making out in the car.
That was my make-out point.
Yeah. And let's go somewhere else. And do you love me? And he doesn't say, well, I'm here with you. Guy trying to get laid in the car, and she says, let's go someplace more private. And I was like, you're alone.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no other vehicles. In some movies, you'll see make out point, right?
Right.
Where there's a bunch of vehicles there and they're all making out in their vehicles. Where this one, there's nobody else there.
Nope.
So I don't understand where she wants to go.
Yeah. I think she's just trying to
hold it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That segues very well into mine. So make-up point was one, but he tells her he loves her just to get laid.
Yeah.
I know, baby, I love you. You're the best for me. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then just the teens killed in a car at make-up point, right? It's the campfire horror story. The hook was on the door handle. And
it's every single one.
yeah.
I had another one about the characters of this film. The dumb jock.
Yeah.
Football player, wild man, they call him. He even has wild man on his jersey, which is just lame. Come on. What self-respecting person or football player would ever put that? It's just dumb.
Yeah.
And then the nerd is it's very Saved by the Bell. Like, this is the nerd. Yeah. This is the cool guy. It's all stereotypes. It's just dumb. He's got a pocket protector.
Yeah.
Carrying around books. The guys are trying to get him to, cheat for him and all that. It's just dumb.
Yeah, it's just the archetypes of every character.
Yeah.
Yep. One of mine was he has to get a high grade on the exam or life is over.
Oh, yeah.
My parents won't pay for my car. My life is over. I have to pass this. I have to get an 82. I had the boy who cries wolf. Radish calls over the event, the shooting.
Yep.
That turns out to be a prank. And we'll get into that one later.
Oh, yeah, we will. Yeah.
And then it's like when he calls back later, it's like, oh, come on. You've already called us. Like, no, but this time it's real.
Yeah. And I know I'm horrible with names in movies. When the main female character,
Courtney.
Oh, thank you. Is running down the hallway. All the doors are locked. In the rooms that's supposed to be a dorm, there's going to be people in the dorm.
But not everyone's there. Like, it's the last day of exams, right?
Yeah, but still people are partying and they're all around campus and stuff.
Until that moment.
And then she runs around screaming and nothing's open. And she's like, help me. And running away. It's just, yeah, that was another one of mine. Also, bodies stuffed in small spaces. Like, what killer? I always think about this when they do the big reveal of bodies.
Yeah.
What killer really spends the time to lug that body in and like shove him into a locker? Like, how ridiculous is that? Oh, this is going to be good. This is really going to get him. I would love to hear like the killer's back thoughts or like just a voiceover of what he's thinking as he's shoving people in cabinets. It's just dumb.
Yeah. I'll put them here. So when the guy opens it, it's really scary.
I'm around. Coming to get you. Yeah. So that was another one. Did you have any more, Mike?
I had one more, and it's the walking killer always catches up to their victims.
Oh, yeah. That's a gooder. Yeah.
Yeah. They're sprinting and running everywhere, and he just slowly saunters after them.
Yep.
And that's my last one.
My last one was the knife up and down cutaway shot. Like when he's stabbing the girl, it focuses on the knife up and then it goes down. And then eventually there's blood on the end of the knife. They pan away and they splatter blood against the wall or against a white sheet or something like that. Right. So that was my last one. Now we're going to get into one-liners. Mike, why don't you kick us off with this one?
Mine was from the opening sound that you heard at the start of the episode, and it's happening. The psychopaths are here.
Yeah.
Just almost as if he's had this conversation with the sheriff multiple times.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I told you.
It's happening. I knew. I predicted this. Yeah. Well, mine is the same character. He says, senseless murders are a modern phenomenon. Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. People die. He mentions that a few times throughout the film. It's like the murders are happening and it's a more common occurrence. Like he says it a couple of times. I'm like, come on, man.
Well, I think it's because the script has no backstory or reason for why the killer's doing this. So I think it's almost like that Scream meta commentary where it's like, as long as we have Radish say over and over again, like sometimes people kill for no reason.
They're just killers.
Therefore, this film's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah.
If they would have shaved 5 minutes off that cafeteria scene and gave me 5 minutes of a background of this killer and why he's there, I would have appreciated it and it would have been a different film. That whole thing where he just appears and starts killing people, I was like, who the hell is this guy in a green jacket?
Yeah.
Like, why?
And the killer's revealed in the first scene.
He doesn't have a mask. Why doesn't he have anything hiding? He's just wandering around killing people. It's anyways. Sorry, I get so frustrated sometimes.
I don't have this in any other category, so I'm going to jump it in here. But when the two teens are in the car and they hear the noise and he looks in through the windshield for upside down.
Yes.
It's so comically ridiculous.
It is unbelievable.
I thought he threw a dead body on their car at first. Like, whoa. It's like, nope, that's the killer.
Yeah. That would have been way cooler if he did that.
Yeah.
Or even an animal. Like if he was out in the woods, this crazy thing, and he hucked a part of a deer on their windshield or something, instead of peering in like, surprise! It's like very Zoolander. I'm just jumping out of the dark and here's my face.
So good.
So dumb. Did you have any more one-liners?
Yeah, and I'm glad we're laughing because this one's a great one to laugh at. So the boy, we find out like he's pinned his girlfriend and the fraternity finds out, so they tie him to the tree.
Oh my Lord, that is the...
And the tradition is the girl then needs to go untie him.
And save him, yeah.
And he's there way too long and he's by himself and he's like, oh, that bitch is always late.
Yeah.
It just comes.
Probably the best part of this film is when he says that. I love the one where she's talking to her friends and when are you going to realize you don't have to love a guy just to get a kiss?
Yeah.
There was one of them. The Dirty Professor.
Oh, yes.
Where he says, because I love the sweet young girls that throw themselves at me. Ugh. What a creep. And he's married.
Yep.
To boot. And when she comes in and they close the door, he looks her up and down. That whole scene is just so creepy.
It's just lasciviousness.
Oh, and he's there in his like tweed jacket or whatever, and his jeans and his curly permed hair. It's, oh my God, this guy.
Yeah.
And she's got a picture of him on her dress. Yeah. They're not hiding it at all.
Nope.
It's just, oh my Lord. Anyways, when he said that, I think I vomited in my mouth just a little bit.
Yep. So gross.
And I think that's all I have. So we're going to move on to what doesn't hold up. Mike, you're going to kick us off with this one. What doesn't hold up for you in this film?
So my first one is something that kind of jumped out. I was like, holy shit. And then it became this sort of running motif. But the teacher, when they're handing out the exams, making a joke about like a sniper in a tower taking the students out.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy shit, like joking about school shootings before students take a test.
Yeah.
Not that the context of when the joke is happening is the reason why it doesn't hold up, but just in this day and age, I can't imagine even a film set in this time where a teacher would be like, the only thing that'll get you out of this exam if there's a sniper in the tower shooting you through the window.
In such poor taste.
Yeah.
It is the dumbest thing that someone could have said.
Yeah. So for me, that's my first doesn't hold up.
Well, that goes into mine because I believe that is supposed to set up the prank.
Right.
Which is these guys jumping out and shooting people.
Yeah.
But it's fake.
Everyone just laughs about it afterwards. Radish is the only one that freaks out, and that's why he calls the sheriff.
The other dumb thing is, do you know how to set that up as a prank? How much planning and organization that would have to be to get all those people to like clutch their chest and fall down like they're being shot? Yeah. He's got like this M16 that he's firing off and shooting all these people. And the amount of masked people that come out of that van, it's like a clown car. Yeah. I even wrote a note, how many people are in this van? And then they just take one of the bodies and then shoot off, and that guy, hey, we got him. It's a joke.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
Yeah, I had part of that as part of my what the fuck. And then by the time the movie ended, I'm like, yeah. Or even like 15 minutes later. But I was like, why are they collecting the bodies that they've shot?
Yes.
And I was like, oh, because it was a prank.
Because it's a prank. But they couldn't all fit in the van. Yeah. There's no way that they would be able to pick up all those bodies and have all those people in there. Yeah. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. So the prank doesn't hold up for me. And I had a second one to piggyback on that one, the blood. Again, that's always my go-to, but the blood looks really, really fake.
Yeah, it's terrible. I had a few more doesn't hold ups.
Yeah, go ahead.
This one was like, I didn't know whether to put it in the hiding in the shadows or not, but the jock's dorm and the stuff they have around in it. Oh, yeah. Right. They've got a lawn jockey, which like right there, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, a Confederate flag. Oh. Like really just punching in on that. And then randomly they have a poster with the Canadian provincial flags.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Yeah.
And then Pepe Lopez tequila standee. So I mean, I understand they're trying to be like, this is what jocks would have in their dorm rooms or their fraternity rooms. But like I know times have changed and we see things differently, but like to really double down with a lawn jockey and a Confederate flag on the walls of anybody is like just troublesome and like problematic.
Yeah.
And then another one I did, this was more just a vent, but I'm like 52 minutes in and all we have is a dumb college movie.
Yeah.
It's like, and this, like going back, I am kind of getting tired and I think I'm going to get angrier as it goes on.
Yeah.
We're watching horror movies. Don't take an hour to make it a horror.
No.
Like,
right?
I'm getting sick and tired of this.
Comment to that. Yeah. I had that in my research that I could bring up now, I guess, is that the director wanted to stay away from the stereotypical horror movie. So he wanted to like not do as much gore. He wanted to focus on the characters and bringing the characters out. And well,
you got to do a better job with it then.
Yes, I was like, why?
Yeah.
You're making a slasher film and you decide that you're going to focus on these college characters that nobody cares about.
Yeah.
We don't have any background to any of them.
We don't care about any of them.
No, and they're all bad people.
Yeah.
I don't like any characters in this film.
Well, Courtney's just trying to study. Come on. But no, but it's like I go back to our discussion on The Exorcist, and that film does a lot to establish Chris and Reagan's relationship.
Yes.
But it doesn't make us wait an hour to see the possession.
No.
Right? It paces it well. It's like we fall in love with this familiar relationship, and then the possession takes place, and then we're fully invested.
Yes.
This spends 52 minutes, and I don't give a shit about these people.
I know.
And so it's like you almost cheer for the deaths. Like, thank fucking God.
I totally agree, because at one point I was finally someone's getting killed. Mm-hmm. In Halloween, the first one, the John Carpenter's version, not the Rob Zombie version, because that one people die within the first 5 minutes. But in that one, we wait for good hour before someone dies, but they're building it. They're stalking. There's a background. I mean, we see Michael Myers as a kid and then we see him escape the insane asylum. Then he's in the town. There's a reason for him to be there.
Yeah.
And then we start to see these characters and who they are. This one, there's just mindless talking about nothing.
Yeah.
For the longest period of time. And you're just like, nothing is being solved and I don't care about any of you.
Yeah.
So please just get killed. When he finally killed that guy on the tree, I was like, thank God, man.
Yeah.
Someone's finally dying. Like, I wanted them to die.
I'm so glad you interrupted me because I was about to just go on a rant.
Just
so mad.
Oh, I shouldn't have. I should have let you go.
Oh, no.
Usually I'm the one that's like freaking out about this stuff. Okay, now we're going to go into...
Oh, no, I still have more.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Fucking hate this movie. No. This one, it made me laugh and it was ridiculous, but like the killer hides in a bucket in a random hallway.
Oh, I had that too.
That the victim happens to go down. So
that was my what the fuck though.
Oh,
so that's why later on.
All right.
Because he breaks it and then he just pops out. Yeah, that was hilarious.
It was fucking stupid. Like, I get so sick and tired again of these killers like predicting where people are going to go.
Yes.
Where he's like, oh, I've killed the guy over there. He's running through the boiler room of this college. I'm going to hide it behind this one random door in this one random bucket.
Oil drum. My note is this. Is the killer just waiting in an oil drum? What if no one goes in the room?
Yeah, exactly.
How long does he wait? This is the worst game of hide and seek ever.
Yeah. He somehow got ahead of the victim. Like, okay, I'll just set myself
I'm
up.
just gonna sit in here. And he's a big guy. How uncomfortable is that oil drum? And he's just sitting there waiting.
So stupid. Oh.
He hears the door, and then again, surprise, here I am, and I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
And then when he stabs him, he's way too far away.
Yeah.
And then in the next shot, he's
right
there.
there. Yeah.
I was like, wow.
He had to get out of that barrel. Like, it's not like a quick little boop.
No.
Like,
No. And this guy's not 20.
No.
We're talking about mobility issues. I mean, he's been in a drum for how long?
He's got to have a cramp.
His hips have got to be seized up. I don't know. With a knife. Just
so mad.
The more I talk about it, the more ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
Someone needs to do like a movie about killers planning their attacks.
And stuffing bodies in small spaces.
Oh, man.
And the inner monologue, like, oh, Jesus Christ, I got to do this now. And I got to hide here. Like,
well, I killed him. That was the easy part. Now I got to put him in this frickin' locker.
I guess the arms got to go down here and the legs got to go up there. Oh, Jesus. Rigor mortis is setting in.
Well, in that kill scene where he gets Wild Man and he
yeah.
ties those cables around.
Yeah.
So first of all, we are led to believe that Wild Man is this amazing football player, and he's one-armed by this killer.
Yeah.
And just pushed around like he's nothing.
Yeah.
And then he just ties it up and lets him go. And the whole scene is just ridiculous. I was like, how is he able to make this happen? It just doesn't make sense. Really, the movie doesn't hold up, but we just can't say that. But most gratuitous scene, I'm going to kick us off with most gratuitous. And so mine was the shooting scene.
Oh, yeah.
How long it was, first of all, and how bad the blood was. And it was just a horrible prank.
Yeah. It's hard to watch.
It is.
Yeah.
Like this guy jumps out, and especially like looking through it 2024 lens, you're just, this is horrible.
Yeah.
And how could anybody think that this is funny? And,
Yeah.
oh, they really got us. Hey, they got us good, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and another thing. I wanted to say, and this could be doesn't hold up or one-liners or whatever, but it's like when he talks about the first killing, the guy that died in the car.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, it's the quarterback for so-and-so. He's like, oh, well, maybe we got a chance this year against him.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
Jesus, man.
Look at that sympathy. Look at that empathy. Yeah.
Just horrible. So anyways, the shooting scene was my most gratuitous. What's yours there, Mike?
Mine's not as poignant. Mine was the amount of ice they pour in his underwear.
Oh, it's insane.
Insane. So in the research, it's like, oh, it makes it even like more, oh my God. Because I wrote that note watching. So this guy's tethered to the tree because heaven forbid he has a serious girlfriend. Let's punish him. So they strip him to his tighty whities, and then they pour a Gatorade water container levels worth of ice down his jockeys. And apparently it was done like practically. Like that was actual ice water being poured on this poor actor. And I got to tell you,
that would have been so fucking cold.
Yeah. Like it would take a lot of convincing to get me to act out that scene.
I would need a bonus. I think you're going to tack on another $500 if I do this.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm getting this down my jockeys.
Yeah.
and then tethered to a tree.
Yeah.
For like outside. This is 81, so guaranteed they're out in the elements, right?
Yeah. And he was tied to that tree, probably like, we'll just keep you the time. We got to wait for the sunset. Stay there. Probably.
Yeah, hours, right? Okay, we're going to do that again. Could you imagine if they had to do multiple takes? Oh my God. Like that poor guy.
Yeah. And then the question would be like, do they untie him so he can change his underwear, or do they just like down and up?
Yeah. Right in front of everybody.
It was cold. I was swimming.
Yeah. Do people know about shrinkage yet? I don't know.
Poor guy.
Oh man, I feel for him. Yeah, I was still happy he died though.
Yeah,
but I feel for him. And on that note, after getting a bunch of ice down your jockeys, we're gonna go to terrifying or titillating.
Same scene. No. Mine was, it goes back to that scene with the teacher-student sex relationship.
Yeah.
And where she's trying to convince him to like one more dalliance. And he's like, oh no, I got to go home.
Right.
And she's like, it's your last chance for some firm flesh for a while.
Oh.
And I was just like, Jesus Christ, like punching home way too hard.
Yep.
So that was the tittling. Terrifying. There was nothing terrifying about this film.
No.
No.
There actually was a jump scare at the end that kind of got me, and I was like, oh, okay, that's all right. But other than that, it was predictable.
Yeah.
And they used the music so much to cue what was going to happen that you're just, oh, okay. Yeah. Stood the test of time is our next category. I'm going to start this one. So what stood the test of time for me was the last 4 minutes of this film. The stalking at the end and the arrow catch.
That was great.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I kept that in. And her scream.
Yeah.
Her scream was pretty solid.
Did you see that in the research?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. They dubbed her and put her scream in other people.
Yeah, because it was so good.
So good. Yeah. So those were the things that stood the test of time for me. Mike, you had a few, and I'm confused. So go ahead.
Yeah. Other categories, I had one or two.
Justify this.
So I had two. I thought I had three, but I only have two. And I really actually did like the death of Wild Man. I know you didn't quite like the fight, but when he's walking through the dark gym and then the lights come on and the killer's at the other end.
Yeah.
And then I thought their fight in the gym was pretty good.
Right.
And the weight room fight scene was pretty...
It was okay. I just didn't like how easily the killer kind of manhandled Wild Man.
Right, because they haven't established his strength or his power.
Right.
Yeah.
So we didn't see anything to that effect. Yeah. And Wildman, like, they do show that he's, you know, he's a big, strong, young football player. So he should be able to, like, handle himself somewhat.
Yeah.
And this guy just kind of throws him around, right? So,
but I think I appreciate that physicality of the two actors. And then I loved the score clock when Wildman dies and it's like, visitors 1, home 0. It's like,
I missed that. Actually, that's pretty good. Yeah. So they try to interject a little bit of comedy there.
Yeah. And then my last one is, and I'll read it the way I wrote it. She stabs the fuck out of him when he grabs her ankle. Because,
oh, you know what? That's the jump scare that got me.
When he grabs her at the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I remember watching and just being, well, he can't be dead.
Right.
And as she walks by, I was like, oh, wow, he actually got it. And yeah, she doesn't mess around.
No.
Like, that was our biggest criticism of Halloween is that she stabs him in the eye, hits with a poker. She kicks him out the door. He gets shot a bunch of times, but she just goes to town.
Yeah. Because there's so many horror movies, like, just make sure they're dead.
Yeah.
And this one, she's like, he's still alive. All right, let's go.
Yeah, she makes sure he's dead.
And I think it's like 12 stabs. Like, it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It's so good.
and really aggressively.
Yeah.
Like, she just, yeah. And that's why that's in my, like, the last 4 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
That's what I liked, is her just going crazy on him.
But no other horror movies. Like, people still haven't learned their lesson. Like, make sure the killer's dead.
Yeah.
And there's no way he's getting up from that.
No, she definitely gets him. And as we move into our next category here now, we're going to eerie to ear splitting. Eerie for me, I would say, was the very first time you hear the music with the killer. It kind of reminds me of Halloween.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of creepy. I didn't mind it. I didn't love it. I tolerated it. And it was still kind of creepy. So I put eerie in that one. Yeah.
See, and I put the piano sounds like they're trying to rip off Halloween and Tubular Bells.
There you go. Yeah.
So I was more of a, like,
you were more critical on that one. Yeah.
But this movie is a ripoff. Like, it is just trying to be a ripoff
totally,
of. So it's like, well, let's rip off the score as well.
Yeah. We're just going to change these notes ever so slightly. And we won't get sued for copyright. Yeah. I had another one. It wasn't really ear splitting, but it's the music at the end after she goes, crazy on the killer. There's this piano music that reminds me of Rambo when he's been arrested.
Right.
There's a long road. But this one is just piano. And she comes out and she sits down on the stairs and, then we get a freeze frame of her, like, crying or whatever she's doing. But that song they put at the end does not fit.
No.
It is just dumb. I didn't like it. A lot of things took me out of the enjoyment of this film. Yeah. That was definitely one of them. At the end, after she went crazy on him, I was, okay. Yeah. Now we finally got something here. And then that piano stuff comes. What the hell is this now? They should have just kept it silent. Sheriff comes up there, takes her in. Yeah. What the hell's going on here? There's a trope. Southern sheriff. Anyways, that was my ear splitting one. Now, do you have a what the fuck moment?
I don't actually.
No?
No.
Okay. My what the fuck was the arrow catch.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't expecting it.
So good.
And this guy hops out, gets the arrow, and then he just grabs it, comes down, stabs him with the same arrow he caught.
So good.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
I got some stuff on research on that later.
Yeah, okay. Now we're going to go into back it up moments. Did you have a back it up?
I do. It's not great.
Okay.
While watching the film, I wrote nothing down as a back it up.
There's not a lot to back up in this movie.
No, but I did like Radish running away.
Okay, yeah.
Running across the campus, going into the dorm rooms, looking for like anybody. I thought the actor did a good job with it.
Yeah.
I'm really, really searching for something to compliment this film with. But if we're looking for a sequence to back up and rewatch, of all the victims and of all the pursuits, I think the Radish scene is my favorite.
Okay. So I did actually have a back it up moment. I said I didn't, but I did, because I did actually back it up. And I went the more comedic route. It was the oil drum. When he came through that door and the killer pops out of the oil drum, I laughed so hard I rewound it and watched it again. I was like,
nice.
This is ridiculous. So yeah, that was my back it up moment. Hiding in the shadows. Did you have anything for that?
I had a couple things. The first one was more kind of like an Easter egg. And again, it's speaking to that sort of meta commentary that Radish provides with the whole, like, sometimes people kill for no reason, blah, blah, blah. In his dorm room, he's got posters that sort of speak to his sort of fixation on killers.
Okay.
He's got a poster for Helter Skelter, and then he's got an older film, Murder is My Beast, and then he has a poster for Corpse Grinders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I was just like, hey.
This is Radish?
Yeah, Radish has Corpse Grinders poster on his wall, so I like that one. Yeah.
Cool. You know what they should have done? Now that we talk about this, they should have made Radish the killer.
That would have been amazing.
Like if he is sloughing it off by, random things happen all the time. And instead of being like this brute force guy, he's just this, intellectual killer.
Yeah, like sort of pull down their defenses with his weakness and then
and nobody expects him and you need to get the test and then he goes and kills him. Anyways,
that'd have been great.
Go ahead.
My next one is, and this was just like a quick little funny thing, but when they're going through the boiler room and they're like looking around a corner, they go to put their hand on the wall to balance themselves.
Yeah.
And the actor pulls their hand away because I think they were like in an active boiler room and the metal was actually hot. So I just like that little,
don't touch that. Yeah.
I like that little error there.
I had one that I wasn't sure if I missed something here. So Courtney is running around and she's trying to get away, but she never sees the killer, right? Until she opens that door and she sees the man in the green jacket.
Right.
So if she doesn't know who the killer is and she's not being stalked, but she's running around looking for help, why wouldn't she assume that guy could help her?
Right. Because, she goes back to her dorm room and Radish falls through the door.
Yeah. And she says, Radish, move. And he's dead.
Yeah.
So then that freaks her out and she starts running. But then she goes into the gym and she finds these bodies and then she opens the door and she sees this guy. Now he's standing there. He doesn't have a knife.
Right.
But he's just standing there. Why wouldn't she even ask the question? I said, why wouldn't you say, who are you? What are you doing here?
Right.
Or ask him for help because she's been looking so much for help.
Right. Like, help me, help.
Yeah. So I didn't get that.
No.
Like she doesn't know him.
Right.
So I don't know. Anyways, I didn't know where to put that one.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That's a good one. When you talk about her running away and she's in the cafeteria, I loved the scene where she traps him in the walk-in and like locks it. I'm like, oh, that's great. But she doesn't know that it's like a continuous walk-in with two doors.
Yeah.
He just pops out the other side.
I know. You know what I also thought was pretty funny is he takes the dumbwaiter down.
Yeah,
and he's this huge guy. Could you imagine the killer? They don't show it, but could you imagine him trying to squeeze through that tiny hole to get out? He just been like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know how he crawled out of that.
I'm like, what the heck is this guy doing? It's like the dumbest thing a killer. He would just look so stupid.
So bad.
So now we're going to go into our bonus features. Most of my stuff is from the IMDb website. And my first one, I guess, is we had mentioned this before in another podcast, but again, it's rare to have a movie shot in sequence. And this one was shot in sequence.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Actors left the set after they were killed.
Yeah. Did you have one?
Just a weird one from tvtropes.org. Just the title from other countries. In Argentina, it was Panic at College. Brazil called it The Shadow Hour. Colombia, I like this, Blood Test.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And Mexico called it Killer Game. So some of those titles work. Some of them don't quite fit.
Yeah.
I had a reviewer, it's like Radish, who is possibly the comic relief, just offhandedly mentions, we've talked about this, that some people go crazy and start killing for no reason. That's it. That's the whole mythos. Mm-hmm. And you'll ignore it till the film is done and you're crying out for a nice little narrative reason why it all happened. Like, absolutely. Kept thinking like, there'll be an explanation. There's no explanation.
No.
What the hell?
Film was shot in 6 weeks.
That's a quick.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And the star, Joel Rice, beat out 5 other actors for the role of Radish.
I think he did a good job as the nerd.
I think he did all right. Yeah. He was probably, out of all of them, the most likable character in the movie.
He was the actor I appreciated the most, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
I had this one from another just review where it's like, the ending is not good enough to make up for the rest of the film because you'll still be annoyed at the hour of a bunch of mildly unlikable people twatting about.
I have the ending death sequence was deemed too much by the MPAA and gave the film an X rating, despite no visibility of the gore. Much obligingly, the filmmakers chose to prune the stabbings from 18 to 12.
Yeah.
And the film was re-rated an R. So she stabbed him 18 times.
18 times.
Wow.
12 was enough, but 18, like,
could you imagine? It just keeps going. Like much of this film does.
I have this from an interview with Timothy L. Rayner, who plays the killer, and he's talking about the fight scene. And this is a fairly long little bit, but it's quite interesting. The weight room fight scene got a little too real. They yelled action, and Ralph threw himself up against the weight machine and did his dying act. Only this time it was almost real. As Ralph slumped forward, the cable tightened around his neck in such a way it put an instant stranglehold on him. He started to shake and vibrate there for real, and everybody thought he was acting. I knew better. I ran over, pushed John Chambliss out of the way into Jimmy, and grabbed Ralph and ripped the cable off his neck. He'd already passed out and didn't even know what happened.
Oh my God.
Another few seconds and it could have been serious. Luckily, it wasn't. So things on set like that can be humorous at times and even dangerous if you don't know what you're doing.
Wow.
Yeah. Like the intensity of that fight was good, but it's like we've talked about OHS and like the safety of actors and just like crazy. Yeah. And of course, the director's like, wow, this guy's really selling the death. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Actually choking him out.
Yeah.
The coach, do you remember the coach?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He was a stereotypical coach too. He's all in gray with a hat and a whistle and anyways, the coach is played by Jerry Rushing, and he was the basis for Bo Duke in the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yes.
He was in season 1, episode 4 as a repo man of the show.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'll take the one that you're willing to give to me because this is the best part of the research.
I think so. Yeah.
So Timothy L. Rayner was actually trained in martial arts. And so when they were looking for something to do at the end, he was the one that suggested the catching the arrow because he'd been trained to do it. And they did it live on set. Like the arrow was shot and he caught it in camera.
Crazy.
Yeah. Such a great scene. And not knowing that scene is coming and you see the sheriff with the bow and arrow. It's like, okay, this is ridiculous, but whatever. Yeah. And he shoots it and you're like, oh, this will kill the guy. No, he just catches it. So good.
It was by far the coolest part of this film.
Yeah.
And unexpected, right?
Yeah.
So for all this film's faults, they did have one good scene.
Yeah. And the last thing I had was that the knife that the killer wields is a real knife.
Oh, yeah. I had read that too. Yeah.
They trusted Rayner and his skill to like use
actually
a real
wield
knife.
a knife.
Yeah.
Which is just dumb.
Yeah. Even though he's trained, the people he's working against aren't, and mistakes happen.
Exactly. Like, I don't get that. The more research we do on these things and how we see how directors make these actors do things that for the shot, right?
Yeah.
It's really disturbing how much they got away with.
And just how fast and loose they played with it.
Yeah. People's safety, just unbelievable. And you talk about, everybody does their own stunts. Well, in these low budget films, you do your own stunts.
Yeah.
All right. So now we are going to get into our watchability scale. So Mike, what would you give this out of 10?
Oh, I'm still struggling with it. I mean, there's a lot about this movie that made me angry. There's a lot that doesn't work, but I don't think it fits at the 1. But it's really not good.
Yeah.
I might go 3.
Okay.
I think there's some goodness with it. I don't know. I think it's because we laughed so much while we talked about it.
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's a 3 if you can find the right group of people to watch it with and laugh at it with.
Right. Okay.
If you're watching this on your own just for a film, it's a 1.
Yeah.
But if you get with the right group of people, like we've said that with other films, it's a great film to laugh at and make fun of. So I'll give it a 3 if you get that group with you.
Ah, okay. I'm at a 2. I agree that if you're watching it alone, yeah, it's definitely a 1.
Yeah.
Even with friends, I mean, there's enough of this that you can poke some fun at, but it's not as fun as Squirm or Corpse Grinder or any of those other ones.
Right.
It just seems like it's trying too hard to be something that it's just not. Because of that and all its faults, for me, it was the pacing.
Yeah.
And that's what really hit it. It was just too slow to really give it anything more. And the fact that I didn't care about any of the characters. Like even when Radish died, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So there was nothing there for me. So yeah, 2 is where I'm going to stay. So thank you very much for listening to us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We are at ScreamStreamPod. Stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, for more information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and a page where you can recommend movies you want us to discuss. Please rate, comment on, and subscribe to our show on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Till next time, this has been Chad and
Mike.
Scare you later.